Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. I am Kim Lengling, your host, and I am so glad that you are spending a small part of your day today with myself and my special guest today, Kevin Hall. Now, he is an author, a storyteller, and an encourager of fellow self published authors navigating the modern seas of book marketing. Dun, dun, dun. And we all know that that's not fun. If you're authors out there, the marketing is the tough part for everybody, for myself as well, and my background's in sales and marketing. Anyhow, moving on. Kevin draws on real world experience. He makes complex topics approachable and encourages others to navigate with courage, purpose, and persistence. A believer in the power of stories to connect generations, Kevin has penned two memoirs, preserving family and local history for his grandchildren and his community. And if that weren't enough, folks, he's recently penned a quirky short story murder mystery, a whodunit, if you will, that still has him chuckling today from time to time. And he has a historical fiction manuscript in the works. He's a busy man. Kevin, welcome to Let Fear Bounce.
Thanks, Kim. I really appreciate you having me on your show today.
I've been looking forward to this because you write in several different genres. And I just find that interesting because I'm now reaching into the fiction area, going from
Okay.
nonfiction to fiction. And it's a jump. It's more of a jump than what you realize. And there's a lot more to writing fiction than there is nonfiction. A
Yes.
lot of folks
Yes.
don't quite, they're like, oh, yeah, I've always wanted to write a book. And I chuckle. I chuckle when I hear that. And I'm thinking, well, then write it. And then you're going to have to learn a whole lot more of the writing process. And then that doesn't include the marketing and all of that,
Yes.
because you have to become you have to become, you turn your book into a business.
It absolutely do. And I tell people who come up to me and say, I've always wanted to write a book. And we chat for a little bit. And I say, okay, writing the book's just the first part. Wait until you get to the marketing side. And it may take you this long to write the book, get it edited, get the cover made, get it ready for publication and publish it. But it's going to take you this long and keep going to market it.
And you never
And
stop marketing it.
no, you don't. You don't.
That's
And
what I think a lot of folks think. And here's a question for you. And I know I attempted to go traditional publishing a while back, and it became so overwhelming and discouraging, and it's
Mhm.
even harder now. That's why I decided to just self-publish. And that in itself was a big, big learning curve. And I'm still learning years and years later because everything
Oh,
so much
yes.
changes. So have you ever published traditionally or have you always been self-published?
Always been self-published. When I first started out writing, I looked at the different ways you could get a book published. And, and I'd listen to podcasts and some other live events on YouTube. And I started hearing a lot of, I'll call them horror stories, but taking 2, 3+ years to get a manuscript through the traditional route, even if they accept it and
Right.
the acceptance of these things. And when I looked at J.K. Rowling's turned down 12 times, you look at Peggy Rowe, Mike Rowe's mother, the Dirty Jobs guy.
Yeah.
His mom turned down, tens and tens of times before she could finally publish and finally got published in her 80s.
And she's
And
a New York Times best-selling author over and over again.
yes.
Her books are awesome. I have them.
Oh, so do I.
They
I
are so fun. I recommend them. They're so awesome.
yes, yeah.
Okay, so Mike Rowe, we just plugged you and your mom. There you go. We're gonna have to tag him on this.
Absolutely. I tried a few different times to get on Mike Rowe's podcast. He talks about him and Chuck being old high school buddies and 40 some odd years. I just had my best friend up here last weekend. I first met him when I entered ninth grade in a new school on a brand new bus heading to school for the first day in a new state. And I sat down next to him, and my buddy Bix and I have been best friends ever since.
And I think
And
that's so awesome. I love
ah,
hearing those stories.
yes, yeah. And you know, people say, "Well, my wife's my best friend." Well, you can have more than one best friend.
That's right.
I look at my wife, she's my soulmate. There isn't anything I can't tell her. My buddy Bix and I, we have a history back to school. He lived across from a lake in Minnesota called Crystal Lake. And I used, as soon as I got my driver's license, right over there, we'd haul his boat into the lake and we'd go fishing and we'd pull into the little inlet and we'd fish for sunfish and stuff like that. And, chit chat like teenage guys do. And back then drinking age was 18. So when we became of age, and maybe just a little bit before,
I was
uh,
going to say a little before because I know I did.
yeah, well, we had what was called keggers. And
I
I
know the
mean,
term well.
yes, and the largest one I ever went to was like 40 to 50 kegs. You paid a couple dollars at the door. Local bands were playing, and and I didn't drink a lot. I mean, I may have had a couple beers and that was it. But if you bought beer at the grocery store, it was what they called 3.2,
Yes.
3.2% alcohol.
Yeah.
So,
I know
but
all the terms you're using.
okay.
I
But
love it. And for those of you who don't that are younger, look them up. Google it.
yes, yes, yes.
Google up what
I will
Google what
say
kegger means.
yeah, I am so glad they made it 21 just due to what I've seen happen out there.
It's
I don't
really
want to
changed
take
a lot,
away.
hasn't it?
It has
I
back when
mean,
I was that age, if you were out and you were drunk, if you were pulled over to the side of the road or something, the cop would just take you, bring you home. Your car would stay parked there. Hopefully, it was there in the morning, but it would stay parked there and he would just bring you home.
yep.
And I
Yes.
mean, hand you to your parents, and you feared your parents back then.
Yes.
Yep.
I was brought home one time.
I never was, but
Not by the police, but by a friend who wasn't drinking, but the police saw us and said, "You got to get home and you take her home."
yep,
So
yep,
I was, dropped off at the front door and my mom answered the door and she was not happy and I was grounded for a month.
yeah, yeah. And you didn't disobey that.
No,
Uh,
no.
You knew their wrath, and I mean, to you, there was God, but then there was the secondary level, and that was parents, and you
And
did not.
my mom could swing a broom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yepper. Sometimes I wasn't quite fast enough scooting out the back door to run out in the woods.
But Kim, if I ever could, I would go back to that time because it was so different.
Yes.
And that's where uh with my grandkids, and they're really what got me writing. They would ask me, "What was it like, Grandpa, for you as a kid? What did you do?" And I would tell them all these stories. And my oldest granddaughter's turning 16. I dated a little bit in high school before I met my wife. And she asked me, she says, "Did you kiss them too?" I mean, yeah, that was, you know,
Well,
it's,
it's an honest question.
yeah. And so I answered her directly and said yes. And
Yeah.
I held their hand also. It was innocent. It was just the way it was.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed yourself. And I mean, you weren't malicious or mean. You were growing, you were learning, but you were also a person with feelings. You knew your friends had feelings, and you just relaxed. At least that's how I felt. And I know there were
We
some
were,
kids.
yeah, we were outside from,
Yes,
morning until dusk. And when the street lights
yes,
went on, our butt better be back in the house
yes,
or at least on
yes.
the front porch.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
That's
I
exact.
grew up in small town America, you know.
That was my
You can
first
drive you
two
can drive
books.
through it today and just you just look around and go, America.
Yeah. You must listen to Fluffy. The
Fluffy.
com yeah, the comedian. Oh, I'm trying to think of his name. He describes himself as Fluffy. He's Hispanic, and he comes right out and says, I've got a white bus driver, Dave. And Dave always says, America.
Oh, I don't know where I got that from. I'm a veteran, and so we all sit there, because I still live in small town America. And if something, you see something, you see a flag waving in the sun, the blue sky is just the perfect
Yes.
for, that kind of day.
Yes.
And you just look up and you just go, America. I mean,
Yes.
that's just
Yes.
what we do. I don't know where I got it from. We just kind of all absorbed it and we all say it now all the time. But
Cool. What
the way
branch of
you're
the
the way you're
service?
describing your childhood to me sounds idyllic because I look back on mine and I was constantly out in the woods and out in the creek,
Yep. Yep.
catching crawfish, those little crawdads,
Oh yeah, I know
and
exactly what you're talking about.
minnows and frogs and bringing
Yep.
every baby thing home that I thought was homeless, you know,
I'm right there with you. I
turtles,
am
those
right
little
there
painted
with you.
turtles, you'd find the babies and I'd be like, "Oh, this is so.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's to me that's just idyllic and I don't and we could be outside all day long and
Yes.
mom could work and didn't have to worry because everybody in your neighborhood was your parent.
Yes. And they had the right to smack you if you got out of line.
Yes.
And your parents, if they found out, you'd get double when they got home.
Yes, you'd get it again.
Yep. Yep. Oh, that was my upbringing. Again, I would go back to it in a minute. It was just simpler, and I think you had more truer friends back then. And I don't
I
know
think
how
so.
else to say it.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
agree. I agree. And
I
I
just
think
felt
I
more
think there's a
connected.
lot to be said for drinking water from the hose.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I,
yes.
I
Yep.
think it built up our immune system and our
Yes.
and our, you know, fortitude.
Well, I forget if it was my grandmother or my mother used to say you had to eat a bushel of dirt before your teens in order to be healthy.
I completely agree. I
So,
do. I completely agree. My granddaughter is a year and a half old, a little over a year and a half old. She's my first granddaughter. Oh my
ah.
gosh. It's the best thing ever. And I get to have her twice a week. And we are outside all the time,
Mm-hmm.
weather
Mm-hmm.
permitting. We're out and we say hi to the trees and the flowers and any little bugs
Yes.
that we find. We say hi and we look at them very closely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fun to see the world through a child's eyes again.
Oh,
And
oh
to me,
yes.
it's a good reminder, God saying, this is how you're always supposed to look at it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I've got six grandkids. The oldest will be 18,
Wow.
and the youngest is 7.
Wow.
And the youngest, we just went to what was called Ganondagan Days. It's a North American Indian place here, and they have the longhouse and all kinds of ceremonies and stuff. And my youngest, she just fell in love with the dancers, and she had to go up afterwards. She says, "I got to go see them." And next to their house is open land. And she told him, she says, I want you to move next door to me and build on that land and be my neighbor. She's 7. I
But
mean,
she's honest. That's
she
honest.
is. And
Yeah.
and I mean, just as kind as you can get.
I
And
love
all
that
my
age.
grandkids are. I mean, I have a lot of fun with them, and I get to tease them, and they get to tease. I go by 2 names, Grandpa and Papa. The younger ones call me Papa, the older ones Grandpa. But,
Awesome.
it's just a lot of fun to be around them. Absolutely is.
I
And,
believe you.
and they
I'm,
spurred me into writing. It was because of them I wrote my first 2 books. Prior to that, I wrote a short story, and it was called My Christmas in Rosemount. And I was click-clacking away at the kitchen table. It was just my wife and I. And finally, when I was done with the short story, it may be 80 pages, but it's 12-point font. So if I narrowed it down, it'd probably be maybe 60 pages. I turned it around. She read through it. And of course, she knows a lot of this. I am not kidding you, Kim. Tears were in her eyes.
yeah.
And so we decided I'd make that into a book and just for the kids, for the grandkids. And that Christmas, I had one all wrapped up. but I had others in a box down by my chair. I always sit in my easy chair and I got the Santa hat on and we do it all up. So when the last gift was given, Caleb is the oldest grandson, and Caleb usually was the one who started off asking me the questions. So I said, Caleb, come here. And he came over. I said, you've asked me many times, what was I like as a kid? I want you to open this. And he opened the one that was wrapped, and the look on his face when he saw that I was the author and this is a book. I said, that's just a sampling of what Grandpa was like. And we had the books for everybody else. That was the first book I wrote. And then I went on to my memoirs. And after my two memoirs, then I don't know if I'd call it a calling, but I've had some interesting things happen in my life, Kim, that are not coincidence. And my best friend and his wife was up. Unfortunately, she's passed away due to cancer, but they were up visiting, and we had an event happen right in front of them that there was just no denying. Something happened. And they're God-fearing people. Their son's a Lutheran minister. And Louise looked at it and she said, well, I've seen these things before. She takes a little red charm out of her purse, sets it down, it has a little saying with it, and she says, this has been a visit.
Oh,
And that really begat the stories into my third book, which is called Signs The Veil is Thinner Than We Imagine. And in that book, I interview many folks that were in the Twin Towers, a gentleman who was a complete addict and goes on, sees a vision, goes to rehab, been sober. He creates the world's hottest pepper. If you've ever heard of the Carolina Reaper,
yes, I have.
he created that, and he's since created an even hotter pepper called Pepper X.
Ugh,
And the
I have to
stories he
pass.
tells, I mean, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The gentlemen who were in the Twin Towers, one, I mean, miraculous escape that he made after he hears a voice tell him, get up and get out. There was no one around.
Yeah.
Where did that voice come from? And he hears it again as he's hesitant to go through what he describes as three floors, what became three floors of complete hell, fire, debris, smoke. The voice was there again, telling him to go through it and get out. So I interviewed him. I interviewed a gentleman who was in a chartered flight taking his family back home after his brother's funeral. The pilot dies 10 minutes into the flight.
Oh my goodness.
He takes over, lands that plane, and they say there wasn't even a scuff to the tire. And when I interviewed him, he says, when you walk in the light, the angels are with you. You fear nothing. He had to concentrate, he had to focus. But I'll tell you, there was a little bit. Remember the old telephone game where the person would go to the next person in line? It's like playing telephone. Go to the next person in line and whisper something to them. Then they would go to the next, and then the next, and
Right.
the
And the
next,
story
and the next.
changes. Yeah.
It changes. Well, it was kind of like this for that gentleman. He's in this twin engine plane in Florida. The only person they could find to help him was in Danbury, Connecticut. So he's on his cell phone to his buddy in Florida on the cell phone, who's relaying it over to the tower, and the tower's relaying it to the pilot, and
Wow.
then back through again. I mean, it,
That adds several more layers of stress.
yes, but he managed it. He landed it. His family is safe and sound, but the stories he tells. And then I don't know if you've ever heard of J Mac,
Mhm.
Jason McElwain. J Mac is an autistic kid. He's functioning autistic, but he's autistic. And he wanted to play basketball at his high school. And that high school was Greece Athena. Now, Greece Athena, we used to live in Greece, and this is why I know the story very, very well. My son actually played basketball for Greece Athena, and wound up being the MVP his senior year for the team. But it wasn't when J-Mac was there. J-Mac came a few years later, and J-Mac would bug the coach, I want to try out, I want to try out. And as the coach described it, similar to the Rudy story.
Yeah.
You weigh, like 100 and nothing. You're not tall, hardly any athletic ability, but they wound up creating a position for him. And that was going to be student manager. So he would show up every practice. He would, give them the towels, the balls, the emotional uplift for the games and stuff. He'd show up at the games in a white shirt and tie. I mean, he was dedicated to this team. Senior night, his senior year, the coach said, "I'm going to give you a gift. You're going to suit up and sit on the bench." Sat on the bench, all suited up. He was all proud and everything. The folks during school knew about this, so they lined the stands and they had little placards with his face on it and all this. Well, what happens is they were ahead, 4 minutes to go. The coach points down the bench. J-Mac just about ran onto the court. "No, you have to check in first."
Yeah.
Checks in. First two shots, air ball. But here's the interesting thing. The team kept feeding him the ball. Nobody told the team to do this. They kept feeding it to him. He went wild. He scored three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. And had it went for the whole game like that, he would have been well in the 60 plus points for the game. He finished with, I think it was 21 points. His story went viral.
Yeah.
And the president at the time, George W., flew into Rochester, landed on the tarmac, and met J-Mac on the tarmac.
I remember that. I do.
Yes,
Yeah.
that went viral. Now, Kim, you talk about nuggets of hope. I talked to Jim Johnson. He was the coach. And I said, "Jim, what do you think this boils down to?" He says, "Hope."
Yeah.
Because now it's gone all over the world. I've seen folks on softball, baseball, football, wrestling. There was one I saw, Kim.
I just saw one recently too on wrestling.
Oh, he went out and the kid could barely move.
Right.
His opponent took him and brought him on top of him.
Right. Made sure that he was pinned. It's the same one we're talking about. I just saw
Yes.
that like a week ago.
Yeah. That's the hope.
Yes.
That's the whole hope.
Hope
And
and
so,
humanity. Yes.
yes, yeah. Uh, just a little side story. I use AI for research, but I
Oh, I
love
do
to
too.
hit.
I love it.
Have you nicknamed yours?
No, and you're like the third person who's asked me, and I have not nicknamed mine.
Mine is nicknamed Quill. Because I
Quill.
asked him, I said, "What would you like to be known by?" And he says, "I don't have a name." So then I said, "Well, how about a nickname? What should I call you?" And it came back as Quill.
Perfect.
Appropriate.
Yes, and of course, it's very smart.
Oh, yes.
GPT is very, very smart. And I too use it for research, or if I have an idea and then I'm stuck, and I'll be like, "Here's my idea. Can you expound on it in three different ways?"
Yes,
And that is so helpful.
it is. And one of the other things you should ask it at the end, is there anything else you need from me in order to fulfill this request?
Oh, good one. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, since I've been doing that, I think the results are more impactful. I think I
Oh,
get a little stronger response from it.
yeah. I'll have
And
to,
I
because
always
the more
say,
you do, the more they know you and how you speak.
yes,
That's the thing that's very interesting and somewhat frightening.
yes,
Because
yep,
now when I get in, it says, "Hi, Kim."
yep.
Mine greets
No,
me.
yes, same here. It knows me. And I even got to play with it a little bit and say, "All right, you're the first mate. I'm the pirate captain. We're on this ship. We're going to have a journey." And I mean, those responses that came back, I loved it. I loved it.
It is fun to play around with it. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
definitely fun. So let's get back to your, I know, I love how these conversations go. Sometimes I have to remind myself, Kim, quit looking at the squirrel and come back. Um,
No,
so the book about the veil is thinner than we imagine.
yes.
And it's a practical, no, that's a different thing. Signs. I'm sorry. Signs is the name of
Yes.
the book. The veil is
Yes.
thinner than. Where is that available and when did you publish that?
I published it last year.
Okay.
And it is available Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can go Ingram Spark. If you want to type in Walmart.com, I've seen it out there
Oh,
too.
awesome. Awesome.
So
Because I think that would be a fascinating read. I'm going to have to
I
get myself a copy.
the way I kind of described it, it's also a little bit of a primer. For folks who may say, I don't know, this just sounds a little, well, here's some different things you want to think about. And I went back in time, back to the Druids, the Egyptians, the Romans. I went to cultures of China, Japan, India, the Norse. And I mean, the Norse even have what they call thin places. And that's
Mm.
where they can get the communications and communicate beyond the world.
Well, Native Americans.
Oh, I really get into that also.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean it's been, culture after culture, decade after decade after decade.
Yes.
I find it
Yeah.
fascinating because I mean I've had things happen with me as well. And when it does, I go to my pastor and say, "Hey, this happened." And they're like, "Well, big guy's trying to tell you something or
Yep.
he's protecting you."
Yes. Yes. And more than one way that you will receive the communications for different purposes.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, you
And
can
when you
receive
said
them.
your friend or one of the people that you interviewed actually heard a voice, it's
Yes.
Get Out Now. I too interviewed a survivor of one of the towers, and he was a
Hmm.
blind man with a service dog,
Oh, wow.
Michael Hinkson.
Oh, yes.
He had
Yes.
he had a New York Times best-selling book about that, him and his dog leading him out of the towers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's been on my show twice. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul. Yeah,
Uh,
really good
in
guy.
fact,
But
I ran across your podcast with him.
oh, awesome,
So,
awesome.
yes, yeah.
How
I'll tell
fun.
you,
So actually, people are finding me.
yes. Oh, I'll tell you, maybe my wife would like me to spend a little less time, but I get so involved with some of these. Last night I was listening to Dale Roberts on his YouTube Live, and I do book launchers with Julie
I
Broad.
do too.
Oh man, I'm on that constantly.
We've
And
probably been on the same time on like her Saturday afternoon lives and stuff like
yes,
that.
yes, yes.
She has
And it
some
was
really good
after,
info and people on that.
oh, very, very interesting. Were you
Yeah.
on her 3-day summit?
I wasn't able to do all 3 days. I think I was on the first day.
Okay. I was on all 3 days. Now, I got to tell you this little story because at the end of that, I was kind of beat. I took a lot of notes. I was listening in and all this and still had to do a few things in between time. I sat back that evening after the third day and I like to indulge a little whiskey now and then. I had a couple of shots, watched, it was Bones, the murder mystery, the forensic murder mystery show on
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
It's called Bones. Well, I followed that up after a couple of those episodes watching Johnny Carson rerun.
I love Johnny Carson reruns.
Uh, I love the whole channel. I mean, this is what I used to watch in my 20s before I went to bed. It was Johnny Carson.
Yeah, me too.
So I was watching that night. I had the most interesting dream. And that's where the murder mystery short story came from because the
Oh,
next
perfect.
morning I was telling my
Whiskey induced.
I was telling my wife about it. She's laughing at the end of it. She says, "You got to write this." So I did. Uh, because I used actual names, I can't get into it anymore in detail, only because I don't have the permissions back from everybody yet. I have
Oh,
it from
okay.
a few, but not from everybody. And I don't
Yeah.
want to change the story because it's just too much fun. But I will say there were some things from the 3-day seminar that made its way over into the story. But I
Oh,
sent
now
it to,
see, there's another plug we just did for Julie the Book Broad.
yes. Oh, Kim,
I
there's
have to
so
tag
much
her on
about it.
this one too.
Well, this is now a
No,
great,
book launchers, folks. Seriously, if you're an author, especially an indie author, definitely check her stuff out. She has so much free
oh,
resources that are so helpful.
tons, tons.
Yeah.
As does Dale Roberts. And I mentioned two of them together because Dale's been on the show with Julie, and Julie's been on with Dale. So, I mean, both of them, tons of valuable information out online. Please, if you're thinking about being an author or are an author, a beginning author, go check out their YouTube events.
And
You,
check
you,
out Readsy.
oh, yes. Yes.
They
Uh,
offer a lot of free resources and YouTube lives with
yes.
editors and authors, and they'll do live edits of like the first 10 pages of someone's book or something. And I learned
Hmm.
so much from that.
Yep.
It's just I
Yes.
think the guy's name is Tom Bromley. I like when he's on and he does the live edits of someone's like first paragraph or first page or something.
Hmm.
And I've learned so much just because you do self edit. I do self
Yes.
edit. I mean, I have a professional editor that does the full book,
Yep.
but I will do my own little edits until I'm like, all right, Kim, stop it. Quit looking at it. You're done.
Hmm.
Send it off to someone who does this for a living.
Yep. And,
You
and
know?
that's where I'm at with my fourth book that will get launched hopefully in October timeframe. But it's a
Do you have a
how to,
working title that you can share on the fourth book?
well, that's where I've got a little bit of a hang up.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
because what it is it's marketing your book on a budget. And what I mean by that, zero cost to very low cost.
Right.
And the reason I'm doing that, Kim, is because, and I'll just segue here for a minute. I published my first book in April of 2022. Then my second book came along, then my third book. Kim, I've had sales every month of at least one or multiple of those books since April of 22. I have yet to miss a month. Now, some of them may be 10 or 20, some of them may be 2, 3, but they're still sales. You know how much I've actually spent on advertising on Amazon or Facebook or LinkedIn or any of the other platforms? Zero. Zero. Now, another author and I did run an ad for 3 months in a local magazine in upstate New York that covered a lot of territory. And I think that cost us $80 a piece for 3 months of a quarter page ad. And that's the only other
What
advertising
was your
I did.
return on that? Was it worth it?
It got the name out. It drove more people probably to the libraries,
Yeah.
but that's really about it. And in fact, that first book, which is what I was advertising, uh, it became the number one checked out book out of my hometown library for all of 2022.
How awesome. How
The
awesome.
people loved the stories.
When you were talking about each month, and you
Yes.
might, people ask me that too. Are you making a living on your books? I'm like, no, no, I'm
No.
not. I'm not
No.
famous. I'm not one of those people that has a massive platform because that's what you need.
Yes.
And I do not
Yes.
have and most don't. Most
No.
don't have
No.
millions of followers or subscribers, or even hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands.
Hmm.
But for my books, I have found in the last probably close to 2 years, every month there are sales.
Hmm.
Some months I will chuckle because I'll look at the direct deposit and go, I made $11 this month.
Yes. Yes.
you know, But then one month I made 263.
Yep.
And then the next month I made seven.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
but I get such a kick out of it because it was never my plan it's not going to pay my bills. It was not that's not my
Yep.
goal.
Yep.
But if that happens, hey, awesome. So I
Yep.
keep writing because I enjoy it.
Yes.
But each
Yes.
month, let me ask you, do you get a kick out of just, I mean, I don't care if it's $6 or $206. I chuckle every time and go, oh, my books are, it's like I'm a giddy little 12-year-old girl. Oh, some more
Yeah.
sold.
I get the kick out of it in a few different ways. One, I'll turn to my wife, says, "Well, we might be able to go out and get a cup of coffee,
The
hun."
right coffee.
And then other times I'll say, "All right, well, we can go out, and one of us is getting dinner."
Get
So
right.
it's that kind of thing. But people are reading what I
Yes.
wrote. And that gives me the biggest kick right there. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Kim, all kidding aside, all of the money aside, that one honor of the library and my book being the number one check from my hometown, I'll tell you, to me, that's the pinnacle. I have
Yeah.
reached the pinnacle that
Well,
they
and it's
felt,
not easy to get your books in libraries.
no, no.
I lucked out and got one of my books is in all of the Ohio libraries if it's requested. So it's
Okay.
on their system somehow. I don't quite understand it. And the only way that happens because I happen to know the librarian at this one small library that I gave a talk at one evening.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we need to get this book on the shelves, but they can't do that. She had to do it. I don't know what it is. I don't understand how it works, but it
Yeah.
gets in the system. And if someone comes in and requests it, then they have it on their shelves.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I also put my last book through Ingram Spark. I mean, it's on KDP, but
Right.
put it through Ingram Spark because of that capability to get out onto all the libraries, to get into the database that the librarians can pull from.
Right.
So now I
Do
tell
you?
people, go to the library, ask for it.
Yeah, ask for it. Absolutely. Do you do KDP Select? Because if you do that, then you can't, for 90 days, you cannot go anywhere else. Do you do
Right.
that for the first 90?
I did that for my first book only.
Okay.
And since then, I have not done that because I listen to a lot of the YouTube, that are out there and also the live events. And I just pick up little tidbits here and there. And I got this one that says, no, maybe if you have your ebook, you want that to go through KDP for 90 days, but then you want to go broader. Do not go broad with KDP, go broad with Ingram Spark, draft to digital, and but still put it out on KDP. So that's kind of the formula I've been following. And yeah, I get sales from Ingrams, I get sales from draft to digital, nowhere's near what I get from KDP, but I'm still getting them and they're coming in. So that's the way I do it.
Hmm.
But for the marketing, that's what I'm doing with this next book. I want to appeal to, they say, know your audience. Well, my audience is the beginning authors, one through probably five books. They haven't really learned or mastered a lot of this. They're just, quickly, they don't even know to go hire a professional editor at times.
Right.
Um, so I give them hints and tips. And I'll give you a quick example. On your email, how many emails do you send out a day?
Oh, I don't know. It ranges.
Yep, but I'll bet you it's probably between five on the low end and maybe 20 on the high end.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 to 10-ish. Yeah.
Yep. What do you have down in your signature line?
Um, I just changed it too.
Okay.
I'll look at it right now. Isn't this fun? I have my
Yeah.
name and then I have author, host of the Let Fear Bounce podcast, coffee in one hand, dog leash in the other kind of gal, and then my website.
Okay. Um, and all that's great. Do
And then
you
a
have,
picture of my books.
okay, good, good. Because I list all my books out, my website. I have a link to my author page on Amazon,
Oh, okay.
which they could also click and go to. This
Yep.
is all a form of advertising.
Oh,
It's cheap.
absolutely.
I mean, it didn't cost me a cent,
Yeah.
but it's something so simple. And I was on a seminar earlier, and so and then the lady giving it, I've been on her seminar before, and she asked me to chime in for this one guy over in England, and I was going through and trying to help him do some of this for no money because that's what he was saying. He's got this great book. Uh, I mean, professional editing, spent a lot of money on this, but he's not getting sales. So as I'm talking to him and going through it, and just that simple little thing, he says, I don't have this, I don't have that. I said, well, you will after this, won't you? And he just kind of went, yeah. But that's something so simple. And another one, college alumni. All right. I don't know if you've gone to college, but there's a lot of authors, especially beginning ones, who did. Um, this could even work for high school. But in my college alumni, I went to the website, I looked up the Alumni Association, and they always have an alumni page. So I went down through, I found out who the person was the contact for it, and I sent them a simple little intro letter. And I said, I graduated in 81, computer science, and my career, I'm retired, and I've become an author. If there's any interest to do a story, I'd be more than willing to talk to you. Kim, that has now led to 3 different stories in the alumni magazine.
Awesome.
All it took was a little letter.
So you're just writing short stories for the magazine.
No, it just telling my story and
Oh,
then
you're
promoting my books,
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
but
That's a good
3 different
idea. Yeah,
times.
I went into the military.
Okay.
I didn't go to college. I went into the military.
Which branch did you go into?
Air Force.
Oh, yes. I have a very good friend that went through Nancy Richardson. She's out of Buffalo. And we also worked at Kodak together. And she's retired with her own company. Surprisingly, she does marketing, but marketing in corporate.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but anyways, thank you very much for the service. I was never in. My dad was, my grandpa was, my great great grandpa was in the Civil War, wrote a post-Civil War book about it. I don't know.
Wow.
That's where I get the gene from. I
Yeah, I was
don't.
gonna say you got it from somewhere, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. But that's what my next book is all about. These little tips. I got another one that I call podcast piggybacking. And what it is, and I'll take an example of yourself. You were over on Author Talk with Amy and Russell and them. And I've been on Author Talk also. But if I didn't know of you and saw you there, the first thing then I would do is I would try to reach out to you on LinkedIn and Facebook and just become friends. And then I might begin to drop a message or two here or there, and eventually would ask if you have an opening, this is what I do. Would you consider me a guest? And I call that podcast piggybacking because I'm kind of piggybacking off of the fact that you were on a podcast
Yeah.
where I was on and you have your own. So I actually figured this out a while back because oh, Derek's last name, I don't want to say Doppler, but it's along those lines. Um, he was on a seminar and I was listening in, and he was talking about how you can find podcasts for people who might be authors like yourself, and you just put the person's name in a search line, podcast guest, and that's all you do.
Hmm.
Very simple, very simple. I just kind of took it to the next level and said, okay, then I'm going to go a little further with it. But again, no cost.
Yeah.
Kim, to date, I've been on over 40 podcasts, and I've done that method, and I've been on podcastguest.com and
I'm on that as well. Yep.
utilize them. And I'm just starting to get more involved with podmatch.com. and Alex Sanfilippo.
Yeah,
And I've had
I don't think I'm on Podmatch. I'm
yeah,
on Podcast Guest, and then there's another one, Matchmaker.fm,
yes, yes,
and then there's
yes.
another one called Radio Guest List.
And I have a lot of these listed in the book
Oh, awesome, awesome.
because
So
that's what
when
I
can we
want.
see this book?
I'm hoping October timeframe.
Yay. Perfect
That's my
timing.
goal to get it out. Even if it's the end of October, I want to get it out before November and the holidays because my pitch is going to be for kids with parents, grandparents that are aspiring authors, a great stocking stuffer for them.
Yeah.
So
No, well, now
that's
how helpful even for those that, well, I would get a copy just because it's something you can refer back to as
yes,
reminders.
yes.
Because you
And I've
get
got to go
being an indie
update a few
author is
things.
very isolating.
It is, and that's why I spend a lot of time online. Um,
Yes,
and I just want to learn this stuff.
me
And
too.
you were right. There is so much to learn, and it changes.
Constantly.
Oh, and I understand Amazon and what they need to do to keep the sales coming and keep Bezos's wallet stuffed with money so he could spend mega gazillions on his wedding. You know,
I
it,
gotta
it
let that go.
yeah, that's capitalism. But Amazon started out for books. That's
Yeah,
how he cut his teeth.
yeah.
He was selling books online.
So much stuff, so much stuff. We got to get ready to wrap up here.
Yes.
There's so much stuff we can talk about. So, and I say this to folks, that just means I have to have you back on.
I would love it, Kim. There is a ton. I mean, I feel like I'm just getting started with a
Well, and
lot
I
of
know
this.
we're just getting started. So yes,
And
there's so
I love to
much.
share whatever knowledge I have. I mean, it's free. I want to give it away because folks have given it to me. So it's
Exactly.
kind of my way of giving back.
Yes, and I agree wholeheartedly. That's why my book, Nuggets of Hope, that's all part of it.
Yes.
Just being kind, just be kind. Share your time,
Yep.
share your knowledge,
Yep.
you know.
Well, you talk about nuggets of hope. I want to give you a quote, and then I'm going to give you the nuggets of hope. And the quote comes from my signs book, and it's, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." And that totally flips the paradigm.
It does.
I mean, when I first saw that, and it was a quote, the one I saw was by Stephen Covey, but it's been quoted a little bit different by different folks.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I said, "Oh man, that's it. That's it."
Yeah,
But
I like those moments that are just like I always say, light bulb,
yes,
a light
yes.
bulb moment. All right, so right now I want you to share with everybody where they can find you and all of your good stuff. And then when
Okay.
you're done with that, toss out that nugget of hope.
I will. Kevin-hall.com. That's my
Easy.
website. Very easy, and it's Hall. Very, very easy to go to. I'm not real happy with the website, so I will be redoing it. That's the next project I'll be working on. It was written, Kim, in HTML.
Okay.
Not easy to update. So
No.
but all the information is there. Go to it. You'll find the books listed there. You know, please go read it if you're into nostalgia. My first two memoir books. If you're into spiritual, my third book. And now the nugget of hope. I'm going to give it to you in two ways, and I pepper this throughout my next book. If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Hmm.
And the new, more modern way for that, because that's an older saying,
Yeah.
and I wrote it down. The answer is always no until you're bold enough to ask.
Keyword being bold.
Yes. I mean, what's the worst that somebody can say?
No.
No.
Yeah,
Well, the next might be a yes.
that's right. Kevin, thank you so much for that beautiful nugget of hope. And all you listeners out there, I hope that you caught that nugget that he tossed out to you. Kevin, once again, thank you so much for being my guest on Let Fear Bounce today. It has been a true pleasure.
Kim, I think so too. And anytime you want me back, I'll be here.
Yay! Awesome. And everybody out there listening, new episodes each and every Wednesday, folks, on Spotify, your favorite listening platforms, and on YouTube. So don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, do all the things so we can keep those nuggets of hope tossed out there, going worldwide, folks. Let's cover the world with hope. We can do it. We can do it. This is Kim Lengling, your host of Let Fear Bounce. Everybody be well, stay well, and above all, be blessed.
Kindness. It's simple, powerful, and free. Yet, it holds the extraordinary ability to change someone's day or even their life. Order your copy of Nuggets of Hope, Cultivate Kindness on Amazon.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. New episodes drop each week, folks, on YouTube and Spotify and most listening platforms. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things. So until next time, folks, take a deep breath, be kind to yourself, and as always, let fear bounce.